time and time again. No matter what circumstance you find yourself in, particular matters do not change. And I make the statement to say this. For the most part, our kith and kindred are very, very sick. They're very sick in their mind. Our folks have taken on hostile social engineering for so long. They've taken on the prenatal drugs, and they've taken on the vaccinations and all the food additives. They've taken on all the things that you use, like fluoride and other matters, to socially and chemically engineer them, to the point that they will, as they said in the original Matrix movies, they will lay down their life to defend the very parties that marginalize them, the very parties that kill their offspring and marginalize their offspring generation under generation. And when you move to show them, look, you know, if you continue to hit your head on that rock the way you're doing, you're going to bust your head open, they will look at you like you're utterly insane and continue to bang their head on that rock. We love them, but we cannot make them not do that. That's their private choice to make. Once we tell them, their blood's off our hands, and that's no longer our fight. So we have to move on and do what we have to do for us. So when we see parties doing all that they are able to do to sustain the madness, to perpetuate the fraud, to continue to perpetuate the lies told by the hostiles, or imposed upon them by the hostiles and or both, the best you can do is assist as you're able. However, if they're drowning and you're not able to assist them, do not allow them to cause you to drown with them. You don't do that. You do the best that you're able within your means. However, ultimately, there's that phrase, fish or cut bait. In this instance, parties that insist on doing the presumption thing, you have to let them do that. You know, if parties are looking to speak to particular matters, let them do that. They're grown. That's their choice to make. You cannot make folks contemplate and discern. You cannot cause them to investigate, contemplate, and discern. The best thing you can do is present information and leave it lie. I do feel for our kith and kindred. We love them. We just can't make them. There's no compulsion, so leave it lie. We have quite a few things that we have to do on our own side of the fence with our own lawn. You know, have we spoken about for quite some time now the incongruency of our growth? You know, from the things that we have to contend with, advancing operations on multiple continents, you know, having to deal with the expense of it, knowing that we have to spend funds on multiple continents where we are doing things fairly and equitably, not just for nationals in one sector or on one continent, all sectors, all continents where we're functional. And that's not an easy thing to do. And given the finite amount of money that we have to work with the silver intake that we have, you know, we have an inordinate amount of responsibilities that have to be met. Having to dispatch particular officials to handle particular matters. Part of our commerce is being held up because His Excellency, the Minister for Health and Fire Therapy, won't authorize Evil Herbs, Blue Nile, or Jumbo Towels Health Kitchen product lines to be made available in the Sector 4 until parties on the ground there have gotten to the point sufficient that they can be certified and be qualified to certify others in food handling and storage. So as a consequence of these things, until particular matters are in place firmly in hand, it's a slow process for some of our product line to be able to have things where we can locally source them and proceed out from there. We have a lot of things that we have to do. Just simply moving a parcel with just paper in it, with basically documents in it. That's not an inexpensive scenario. So when you start talking about dispatchment of anti-malaria formula several units at a time, when you start talking about deploying various equipment from the line items portion of the fiscal budget that's not locally sourced, having to traverse an ocean with it, the shipping weights that we've been talking about are no little thing. So although we have a increase in the amount of silver coming in on a monthly basis, the responsibilities have increased as well. So we have to commit more silver to more responsibilities. And again, having to do it in a manner where it's fair and equitable. So the nationals on both sides of the ocean are saying, all right, we see monies are being allocated where we're all getting equipment and material that will save lives or improve the quality of our lives. That is not a simple thing. And just over 60 or just under 60 Earth days from now, I should have next year's fiscal budget proposal ready. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of things I have to take into account, including inflation and including incongruency of our growth rate. There's a lot of things that are pushing and pulling and impacting because delegations have to be moved on both sides of the ocean. Equipment has to be deployed on both sides of the ocean. And although we're using technology better to do certain things, there are processes, protocols, and procedures that require us literally being face-to-face on the ground. This stuff costs. To move things around costs. To move folks around costs. We cover all these things because we must. So when folks start speaking particular things, I just have to tell you, we can only contribute with so much energy to where folks are because we have these other fights that's going on, internal things that we have to sort out, challenges that have to be surmounted, learning how to find multiple ways to do things and to teach folks that don't speak the same tongue that you speak. So having to learn how to communicate with nationals that speak different tongues, we're working our way through it. We've been talking to you all about this for almost 2 Earth years now. We're working our way through it. I'm just saying to you that there's so many different aspects to all of this that we have to work our way through. And in order for us to build out and expand our trade and expand our language abilities, this takes discipline and focus. And when you have a zero-fail mission, you have to have zero-fail discipline to see after that mission to completion. And as we keep each other in the ethers, that we are all on our posts and that we are frugal and effective, fair and equitable, we get there. Just know it's a process, but we do get there.